The meeting room will now come to order. We are now holding a meeting of the Weld Central FFA chapter. Madam Vice President, are all officers at their station?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they are at their stations, and report back to you, Mr. President. The Executive Committee.
Here by the emblem of our organization,
Your duties there?
we as the Executive Committee strive to provide opportunities that influence every member. We cultivate pride and respect in the FFA and assist the other officers in fulfilling their duties.
The Parliamentarian.
Hereby a copy of Robert Rules of Order.
Your duties there?
I serve as an advisor and a consultant to the President and members of the procedural matters. I keep in my possession a copy of Robert's Rules of Order, our Constitution and bylaws, and an official FFA manual. It is my duty to see that parliamentary procedure is carried on and efficiently.
The Historian.
Stationed with the chapter's historical accounts,
What are your duties?
I keep a record of the past and present activities of the chapter and its members. I organize the chapter scrapbook and serve as a reference on the chapter history. A good record of chapter accomplishments can be a credit to the chapter.
The Sentinel.
Stationed by the door.
Your duties there?
Through this door passes many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to friends and that they are comfortable. It is my duty. I take care of the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the president in maintaining order.
The Reporter.
Stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child may know that FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to the Virgin Islands and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The Treasurer.
Stationed by the emblem of Washington.
Your duties there?
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members to strive to build up our financial standings through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The Secretary.
stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there?
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The Advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, we are asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. We hope that our advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Madam Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
Plow is a symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist the works of our organization. I preside over the meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is a token of a new era in agriculture. If we follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Mr. President, all officers are at their station.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. FFA. Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Secretary will now call the roll of members.
There are numerous members and numerous guests present. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here?
Doesn't always start.
To practice brotherhood, honor
agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess.
May we accomplish our purpose. I now declare this meeting of the Weld Central Chapter duly open for the transactions of business or attention to any matters which properly be presented.
Good evening, Weld Central FFA members and parents. Thank you for joining us for our parent meeting for the 2020 and 2021 school year. Although things may look different and we don't have our typical barbecue with hot dogs and hamburgers in front of us, we're going to try our best to make this as normal of an experience as we possibly can. So typically we would go through the handbook and we go section by section, but since things are virtual, it's easier this year for us to touch base to the important things that have changed for those parents who have been with us for a few years. And then we'll go through the handbook step by step for the parents of our Ag 1 members who it's their first year joining us for the meeting.
Hi, everyone. It's really awesome to see you all back and ready to have FFA events. I shared this Weld Central FFA handbook with you guys as a PDF version, so if you want, you can read along with me. We're going to go ahead and scroll down
to the FFA scholarship and lettering requirements, we get a lot of questions about this because our program is unique in the students being able to letter all 4 years and then get up to $1,000 when they graduate. So we just want to make sure that parents and members understand how this process works. So basically, each year students have the opportunity to letter an FFA, and if they letter, they earn $250 for their scholarship when they're a senior in high school. So if you look right here, we have the different requirements that you have to meet to letter in FFA. So first of all, you need to attend 80% of the regularly scheduled FFA meetings. If there is an excused attendance, that'll be okay. So for example, funeral, sickness, whatever. It's just you need to make sure that either you as the parent sends an email to myself or Miss Curtis, or that the student lets us know if there's something going on so that we can excuse them. Obviously, this year meetings are going to look a little different, and that's why we're implementing some virtual stuff with it. So today, for example, your student needs to fill out the Google form that I sent out, and that's what we will use for their attendance. And they need to still attend 80% of those meetings, whether it's virtual, whether it's in person with regulations. Either way, we'll make some sort of a monthly meeting to give them that FFA experience. The second thing they need to do is actively participate in at least 2 fundraisers during the year. So the first fundraiser has to be the FFA the FFA member sponsorship night. This previously has been called labor auction or member auction. This year we're going to be calling it member sponsorship night. I'll kind of touch base on that in a little bit, but that is one of the fundraisers that they have to participate in. There's other fundraisers throughout the year, such as peach sales, flower sales, metal sales, or if we do concession stands and stuff, that would count for fundraisers for your student to letter in. The third thing is they must be a practicing member of a CDE or LDE contest. We'll go through these more later too, but some of the examples are livestock judging, quiz bowl, speaking. Those are all different CDEs or LDEs. They have to participate in at least the chapter level contest for it to count. If they do well enough at the chapter level, they could go to districts, and if they do well at districts, they can go to state and then on to nationals. But either way, for them to letter, they at least need to participate in the chapter level contest. The next thing is they need to maintain an ag course GPA of a 2.0 and pass all other courses with a C or better grade. That's just to make sure we're valuing that scholarship piece of this. The next thing is they need to apply for and earn the highest FFA degree possible to the member during that year. If that degree cannot be earned, the member must apply for a proficiency award. We'll explain this to all of the students in class, but basically they'll fill out a Google Doc or they'll fill out an application on the AET that they can do in class to make sure that they finish their degree, and we'll just make sure we keep them on track so they know exactly what they need to be doing. The next thing is they have to pay their $25 activity fee and turn in, this year it's a Google form. They have to make sure that's turned in by September 21st, which is this upcoming Monday. It's really important that we get this figured out ASAP and you guys get this, the form and then the fee turned in so that they're eligible to participate in the rest of the semester and year. And the last part, this isn't necessarily the lettering, but this is for the scholarship. So they have to be in ag their senior year to receive this $1,000 scholarship. So if they took ag their freshman, sophomore, and junior year and they lettered, that's great. And they still have their patch and they have their bar and stuff. But if they don't take ag their senior year, they will not be eligible for that $1,000 scholarship. So it's just important. We just value the students being in the program for all 4 years. And that's why that's a part of the scholarship and lettering requirement.
Next, we will go over our Weld Central FFA calendar. Keep in mind that these may change due to unforeseeable circumstances. So sometimes it could be in person, sometimes it could be virtual. And then all changes will be communicated through announcements through your email and then on Facebook and the Weld Central FFA Instagram. So if you don't follow us already on Facebook, it's Weld Central FFA. Just hit the like button and then you should get our updates. And then on Instagram, it's at Weld Central Ag. So you can follow us on there as well. Last week, we met with our officer team and we decided as a team that we would have in-person and virtual options for each event, just in case we do have to go virtual. So until further notice, these will be accommodated appropriately depending on what the CDE and CDPHE say about if we can meet in person or how big the group gatherings are, but we will keep you posted on whether they'll be in person or virtual. For these first 3 activities, they are virtual. Peach sales ended on Friday, and that was successful. And then we'll have our district officer elections virtually, our back to school parent meeting, which is this virtually, and our district officer meeting virtual next week. With that, our chapter speaking night, all of these are planned to be in person until further notice. So we will let you know if those go virtual. Just make sure to be following the Facebook or Instagram pages. Through the November chapter meeting, October chapter meeting, and December chapter meeting, we will plan, just like with this event tonight, a Google form that students will fill out. And then once they submit the Google form, we'll put them into a name generator and we'll pick 3 winners to win the prize of the month, depending on what the theme is for that meeting. So for tonight's meeting, it'll be 3 $10 Ziggy's gift cards, and the 3 members that are randomly generated will receive those gift cards. And then we'll do something that goes along with the theme for each meeting after that. On January 13th, 2021, we'll have our member sponsorship night. That's previously known as the member auction, and Mrs. Madsen will go over the change of that momentarily. And our February chapter meeting will be on the 3rd of February. And then another thing we wanted to point out to you is National FFA Week. Obviously, that will probably look a little different this year as well, but we, alongside our officer team, will work very hard to make sure that that looks as normal as possible. If you guys should have any questions or your members have any questions about these events, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. They can email one of us or talk to us in class. I'm not going to go through every single event, but just to kind of skim through, we will have Weld Central CDEs in March at some point, and then district CDEs, district dairy judging, meat and milk contest, and officer elections sometime in April. Obviously, we aren't very sure on all of these dates right now, as we're not sure if we'll be able to have those in person or virtual. So as we know more, we'll let you know. And then the biggest thing is there's several opportunities for us to serve at community events this year. These dates will be communicated to students throughout the year. So again, make sure that you're following us on Facebook, Instagram, and you're paying attention to the parent emails and student emails that are sent out weekly.
In the past, we have called this event a special event to our chapter. Many different things. We've called it member auction. We've called it member night. There's been different things, but we have decided to change it to the member sponsorship night. This is a decision that we made, and it's something new this year, so we wanted to touch base on it at the beginning of this meeting. But we just think that it's a great new name that will benefit our chapter and our community. So we will, just if you guys see anything about member sponsorship night, you know that it's this is what member auction used to be. It basically will run the same way, but it has a new name and we'll have some cool new opportunities. So if you see member sponsorship night, then you know what we're talking about in this upcoming year.
So every year we answer the question, how can I get involved? We're always looking for parent volunteers with different events, and please let us know if you'd like to be contacted to help with different events. We know that the information in this handbook can be overwhelming, so please use this chart as a resource for each grade level involvement in events. So for freshmen or first year members, there's a list in that top left column, and then for sophomores, the top right column, juniors and seniors, respectively there. The dates are not accurate on this. We didn't update it because a lot of events have been postponed or canceled. So just make sure to follow that event list. Things like the SAE grant applications and National FFA Week are usually pretty accurate with the dates. So just make sure to stay tuned to that. And then pay attention to what officers can do and members can do, because sometimes those will vary as well, since the officers have unique opportunities to be more involved at different points in time. As always, please let us know if you have any questions, email us, or have your student contact us in class.
So thank you all for kind of listening to our updates and changes for this upcoming year. Now we're going to run through the entire student and parent handbook. I'm not going to read it word for word, but we are just going to skim through the pages, especially for Ag 1 parents, so you know what to expect with this program. So on this first page, both of our emails are on here. Please always feel free to contact us if you have any sort of questions. As we scroll down, we have the program description. As you can see, there are 3 integral parts of the Ag program. The first part is the SAE, or the Supervised Ag Experience. The second part are the Ag Ed classes, and the third part is the FFA. For your student to get the most out of their time in Ag, we highly suggest them to participate in all 3 of these things. Obviously, they have to be in Ag to be an FFA, and their SAE is a required part, but the more they put into it, the more they're going to get out of it. So we highly encourage them to be involved with all of these processes and just to really enjoy their time here.
So what is an SAE? SAE stands for Supervised Agricultural Experience, and it's the actual hands-on application of agricultural skills outside the classroom. So students are taking what they learn in the classroom or in the shop and applying those real-world skills out in the real world. They're supervised by me and Ms. Madsen as the agricultural education teachers. They could also be supervised by their parents, employers, and other adults who assist them in the development and achievement of their educational and career goals. SAEs have been in programs since the beginning of time in 1928, when FFA and agricultural education was founded. So even though they've been in our programs for a long time, they are a time-honored and tested form of work-based learning. Here's some examples of SAE projects conducted by recent FFA members. You guys can go through that on your own time. And if students have questions about what SAEs would count or what they could participate in for their SAE, they can always reach out to us with those questions. Students will keep records, including pictures for their SAE project, and these records are submitted every semester to the Ag Ed instructor as part of the Ag Education class grade. Livestock-based projects, so 4-H and FFA projects where they show them at fair, are entered and exhibited at the county and state fairs, but this is not required. Students are rewarded for successful SAE projects through the FFA's Proficiency Award Program, and SAEs are also one component of selection to the various levels of FFA membership, also known as degrees.
So FFA is a little different than your average club at school because it is intracurricular, not extracurricular. In class, we learn about FFA and we learn about SAEs, and that's what makes it unique to our program and just to this CTE class in general. But it's just so that you guys understand that it is taught in class, but it is obviously they have stuff outside of school to do too, or after school. The biggest thing we just want to stress is that the students need to pay their $25 activity fee and fill out that Google form to make sure that they're registered for this upcoming year. And that's due by this Monday, which is September 21st.
FFA membership is limited to students who are enrolled in agricultural education courses. Because FFA is an intracurricular activity, not extracurricular, it is considered part of the class. If a student wants to join FFA, they must enroll in at least one Ag Ed class during the school year, and there's no way around this policy as it is federal law. So even in these COVID times, we do still have to have students in an Ag class for them to be active members of FFA. So they only have to be in an Ag class for one semester. So if they are in an Ag class right now for the fall semester, then spring semester, they should be good to take their other classes, and vice versa. The FFA year begins on the first day of school and ends on the last day of summer vacation. Therefore, a student enrolled in any Ag Ed class for the 2020-2021 school year, regardless of which semester or quarter, is eligible for FFA membership beginning on the first day of school and lasting throughout the entire school year and the following summer. Also, the school district requires a $25 activity fee that must be paid by September 21st to be considered an active member of the Weld Central FFA chapter. We pay all local, state, and national dues for FFA for every student in the program. When we consider ineligibility, I know it's easy to think that since FFA is an intracurricular activity, that eligibility doesn't count against us, but that would be wrong. Even though FFA is intracurricular, if a student has been declared ineligible for extracurricular activities due to a good conduct violation, so they were written up, or for academic reasons or any other reason, this period of ineligibility applies to FFA as well. In athletics, an ineligible student may practice with the team but may not compete. Also, the student must be in school all day in order to attend any FFA event after school, including meetings. Above and beyond the high school student handbook, we will also adhere to the following policy. If a student is suspended or expelled, that student will be put on probation for 365 days or 1 full year, and will miss the next closest event or activity in the FFA that is outside of class time. If the student is suspended or expelled within the 1 year probation, then they will be ineligible to attend any FFA event outside of class time for 365 days and will not be eligible for the FFA scholarship or lettering that year. Some FFA activities that everyone should attend are the annual FFA banquet, monthly FFA meetings, and at least one leadership development event or LDE or career development event, also known as a CDE, per year, and take part in at least 2 fundraisers, including the member sponsorship night, 1 per year. Here's a brief explanation of what each of those events are. I won't read it to you because I don't want to waste your time, but you guys can go ahead and skim through that as you see appropriate. Here's the list of the career development and leadership development events. Up here are the leadership development events, these 3, and then starting with ag sales would be your CDE. So sorry, that would be these 6 are the LDEs. Starting with ag sales would be your CDEs. Those are typically held at Fort Collins for state at CSU. But with this year, we're not really sure when that'll be or if they'll even have it in person. So again, stay tuned for more information on that, and we will communicate that out to you guys as parents. For the FFA fundraisers, the need to raise funds is a reality for all student organizations. We would not be able to provide so many great opportunities for our students if it were not for our fundraising activities. Here's a short summary of what our FFA chapter does to raise funds for our programs. Other activities are conducted on an as-need or as-available basis. So we have our FFA member sponsorship night. This is the biggest fundraiser that we provide for our students and parents. Typically, 20 to 30 members hours are sold to be auctioned off for sponsors to purchase for the student to be able to work at their house or their business. There's several options that people usually will put the members' hours towards. That fundraiser does go into our scholarship and activity account in order to make sure that the scholarship account stays replenished, while also maintaining our funds so that we have enough for our activities for FFA members to participate in. Peach sales are held within the first 3 weeks of school in August or September. 3 boxes sold is considered a fundraiser. 2 this year because of the peach shortage that happened on the West Slope since the freeze. We did lower that number just for this year. It will go back up to 3 next year. Flower sales are held in May. Members sell flowers from Mazzotti Greenhouses in Hudson for 2 Saturdays. Weather permitting, that's usually on the corner of 76 and 52. Concession stands throughout the year for different sports shows are at fair. Obviously, if sports aren't happening right now, we won't have concession stands, and we don't know how concession stands will work once we do have sports back. We're not sure if we'll be able to serve food in those. So again, stay tuned. And then our oyster fry ticket sales, again, oyster fry is not this year, but these are just examples that we would have in normal years. Obviously, there's nothing normal about this year.
One of the opportunities that FFA members can participate in is applying for a proficiency award. Typically, juniors or seniors apply for these awards based on their supervised ag experience. Obviously, below here are the different things that they could do for their proficiency awards. I'm just going to show you, also go down here to these FFA degrees because that kind of plays into this. So these FFA degrees your student must apply for to kind of go into the lettering and scholarship stuff. But if your student's in Ag 1 or if it's their first year in Ag, they need to apply for their green hand degree. This kind of just shows what it takes for them to qualify for that. And then their second year in Ag, they would apply for their chapter degree. And here's what they need to qualify for that. In March, we will have a Green Hand and Chapter degree ceremony night where they will get their pins to put on their FFA jackets. The state FFA degree, either juniors or seniors need to apply for this degree. It's the highest degree that the state can bestow upon an FFA member. So it's a really big deal. So for students who, obviously, there's a lot of requirements and qualifications on this. So if your student doesn't qualify for their state degree, they'll still fill it out just so that we have it on our records for our lettering and scholarship stuff. But if they don't qualify, it's okay. But we typically have quite a few members get this state degree. This year we had 10, so that was a huge number across the whole state. When they're out of high school, they can actually apply for their American degree. So they need to apply during the first, second, or third year out of their high school graduation. These requirements are obviously even more intense than the state degree because it's the highest degree that you can get in the country. So I went over those proficiency applications, and that's kind of goes into this because if they can't qualify for their state degree, we'd either have them fill out the application or just fill out a proficiency application. Either way, it's just it's a good way for us to keep track of our records and to keep track of how your students are doing with their supervised ag experience, and just really shows how they deserve to letter and get that scholarship when they graduate.
Weld Central FFA takes multiple trips to leadership conferences, conventions, and competitions throughout the year. As a rule, high school students must be eligible according to Weld Central's good conduct policy, as well as academically eligible in order to participate in these trips. Academically eligible means that a student is not failing a class or has 2 Ds when eligibility is pulled, and they would then have to miss the FFA-related activities. That does include if you as a parent have paid for them to participate in that activity, they are not eligible for that refund since they're not eligible for school. On all FFA trips, students pay for their own meals with a few exceptions as noted, and incidental costs such as souvenirs. On some trips, FFA members are asked to pay a fee to the chapter to cover a portion of the expenses. The reason we do this is so we have an accurate number of students attending, since we can't get a refund after registration and hotel rooms have been booked. Also, students need to have paid the $25 activity fee to the high school to attend as well. In the summer, usually in early June, we have state FFA convention. If a student is being recognized for an award or state degree, they receive first priority to attend, and then it would be open to the rest of the students wanting to attend. There's a fee attached, but this is just to cover the registration. The chapter will cover hotel and some meals. Students have the opportunity at state convention to attend workshops, see award ceremonies, tour the career fair, and listen to motivational speakers. These conventions are held at colleges, so students also get to see college campuses in Colorado. In October, usually at the end of October, we have National FFA Convention, which will be virtual this year. Students who have earned their way to the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis, Indiana, earn awards or compete in contests have the first priority. And then once we've determined how many students have earned their way in one of those 2 categories is when we open that back up to our other members in the program. Other students need to fill out an application, and then it's determined based on priority or seniority. There's a $750 fee to attend, and that covers transportation and lodging. And then the students need to supply money for extras and some food. So typically, because Indianapolis isn't really a jaunt away, we usually fly, and then we'll have to rent vehicles. So it is important that that $750 fee is paid. Highlights of the convention may include the sessions, the National FFA Career Show, national contests, leadership workshops, and field trips to area attractions. And then the FFA website, ffa.org/convention, has more information and also talks about the virtual convention this year and what to expect with that. Washington Leadership Conference is held in the summer, typically in late June, early July. From your local FFA chapter to the nation's capital is where you get to go if you do WLC. It's the highest leadership conference that FFA offers, and it's typically includes relationship building, problem solving. You stay in a hotel room with members from other chapters around the nation, and then you get to see the landmarks of our capital. It's a pretty cool trip. Big conference is for Ag 1 students. This is hosted typically by district. So our big conference is in Brush at the Morgan County Fairgrounds. It's a $15 charge to attend. Students are actively participating in leadership workshops, and they get to meet state FFA members. They also get lunch and usually a t-shirt for attendance to big conference. MFE ALD conference. MFE stands for Made for Excellence, and ALD is Advanced Leadership Development. This is typically for students that are in their second, third, fourth year of FFA. First year students can attend, but it is more of those advanced leadership skills. That's $75 to attend the conference, and then some money for meals. We do stay at a hotel, and it's usually in Colorado Springs. National Western Stock Show. Students wishing to attend National Western Stock Show and not showing an animal there will need to buy a ticket from us, and they will get into the rodeo and then also admission into the stock show attractions in general. It's a one-day event, and the chapter provides transportation to and from Denver. With the postponement of stock show this year to the 2022 year, we will not be attending stock show this year, but hopefully in the future, when things get back to normal, we will be able to attend that and provide those opportunities for our members.
Here are just some of the individual opportunities for FFA members. One of the really cool things about the National Convention is that they have a national FFA band and chorus. So for that, it's not happening this year just because of the convention being virtual, but members in the future could apply to be a part of the band or chorus, and then they actually are a part of each of the sessions at National Convention. So that's an opportunity in the future if your students are interested in that. Another awesome opportunity that we can offer right here in our chapter is being a chapter officer. So our chapter officers plan all of the events that we have for the FFA chapter. We typically have officer meetings every week. This year we can't do that, but we meet with the officers often and touch base with them so we can make sure to plan our different events and activities. If you would want to be a chapter officer, the application and interview process would be in April. So you have a while to think about it, but it's just an awesome opportunity to be involved with our chapter. For more information, just make sure, Ms. Curtis already mentioned this, but email us if you need to. Follow us on our Facebook and Instagram pages. We send out the parent emails every week, so you can stay updated on that. And then I think that's all we have as a part of our handbook, but just one more announcement. This upcoming week, we will start measuring the Ag 1 students for their FFA jackets. So we need to, just so we can make sure we get those ordered for the upcoming speaking contest in October. So we will be placing that order on September 25th, which is not this Friday, but the next Friday. And for your FFA jacket and for the scarf or tie to be a part of the FFA official dress is $75. So if you're interested in having your student get an FFA jacket this year, please just let me know and we'll have them measured in class. And it's just a really cool thing to have for them to represent FFA and just to be a part of something bigger than themselves. So if they're going to be involved in FFA, we'd strongly encourage you to get an FFA jacket. However, we know that they're expensive. So if you can't necessarily afford one right now, we have FFA jackets that students can wear to different events if you don't want to purchase your own.
Once again, we just wanted to say thank you so much for attending our virtual parent back to school meeting. We look forward to a great year, even if we do have to mix the in-person and virtual experiences. We still hope to make the best of it, and we're so excited that you and your student have decided to be a part of our program.